Good morning, beautiful soul. I invite you to take a breath, a deep, kind, loving breath, because today we step into a new way of being. We are releasing doubt and embracing power. You see, every morning we are given a blank canvas, and with each thought, each word, each belief, we paint the story of our lives. Doubt is just a habit. It is not who you are. It is simply a thought that you have thought again and again. But thoughts can be changed, and when you change your thoughts, you change your world. The power of thought. You are what you believe self. Doubt creates resistance. Belief opens the channels of abundance. Let's begin at the very root of all creation, your thoughts. What you think about yourself, about the world, about what's possible for you. These aren't just idle musings. They are the blueprint from which your reality is shaped. There is a fundamental truth I want you to remember, perhaps even write down and place somewhere visible. You are what you believe. That may sound simple, but its implications are profound and far-reaching. When we speak of abundance, we often think of external things: money, opportunities, relationships, success. But abundance does not start out there. It begins within. It begins with your consciousness, and at the heart of your consciousness lies your belief system. If you wake up each morning carrying the quiet weight of doubt in your abilities, in your worth, in your potential, then that doubt becomes a filter through which life is experienced. Even blessings, when filtered through the lens of unworthiness, can feel like burdens or coincidences rather than rightful manifestations. The truth is, doubt is not a fixed personality trait. It is a mental habit, one often learned early in life through criticism, rejection, or misinterpretation of life's events. We internalize messages sometimes from family, school, society, that tell us we're not quite enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, not deserving enough, and we begin to believe those messages. We repeat them in our minds until they become our identity, but I want you to consider this. If you learned doubt, then you can also unlearn it. You can replace it with belief. You can teach your mind a new truth. Philosophically, thought is the first cause. Everything you see in your world began as an idea. The chair you're sitting in, the clothes you're wearing, even the device you're using to hear these words, all began as a thought in someone's mind. So why would your life be any different? Why would your dreams be any less real or achievable than the reality you're currently living? When we choose belief over doubt, we are doing more than just hoping. We are engaging in an act of creation. Belief is not passive. It is a declaration to the universe that you are ready to receive. It is the energetic yes that opens doors, draws people, and calls forth experiences that align with your inner truth. But this only happens when your inner truth is one of worthiness, not self-rejection. Now, belief doesn't mean you never feel fear. It doesn't mean you won't encounter obstacles. What it does mean is that you have shifted your foundation. You are no longer living from reaction, but from intention, and that changes everything. In psychological terms, belief creates cognitive bias. It literally programs your brain to see and interpret information in a way that aligns with your expectations. If you expect things to go wrong, you'll notice every little inconvenience and interpret it as proof. But if you expect things to work out, even setbacks are seen as stepping stones. This is not wishful thinking, it's neuroscience. You attract what you're prepared to see. So let me ask you now, what are you prepared to believe about yourself? What narrative are you choosing to tell every morning when you wake up? You have the power to dismantle old patterns of self-doubt and rebuild your inner landscape with trust, love, and expectancy. Begin there. Choose belief not just once, but daily. As surely as you breathe, reaffirm your worth, your value, your belonging. Because the world doesn't give you what you want. It reflects what you believe you deserve. And when you believe you are worthy of abundance, it can no longer stay away. Morning as a sacred portal for creation, the first thoughts and feelings you cultivate each morning shape your reality. Let's turn now to the morning itself, not just as a part of the day, but as a powerful moment of energetic opportunity. Most people rush through their mornings with a kind of unconscious urgency. The alarm clock rings and immediately they dive into a cycle of to-do lists, notifications, and obligations. But very few pause to recognize the sacred nature of those first waking moments. What if I told you that how you begin your day is not just a routine, but a ritual of creation? That each morning you are given the profound power to decide who you are and what kind of life you are stepping into. The early morning hours are a liminal space, a thin veil between the subconscious mind and the waking world. Neurologically, your brain is still transitioning from delta and theta brainwave states into the more alert alpha and beta states. What this means is that you are especially open to suggestion. The thoughts you think and the emotions you feel in this transitional period don't just pass through you. They imprint on you. They influence your mindset, your choices, and even your ability to perceive opportunities throughout the day. This is not poetic metaphor. This is neuroscience, and it's also spiritual truth. In those quiet moments, before the world has fully arrived in your awareness, you have a choice. You can let the chaos in, or you can consciously create a space of alignment. You can rush, or you can root. You can begin with anxiety, or you can begin with intention. Now, let's be clear, this is not about perfection. I'm not asking you to wake up at 5 a.m. and follow a 10-step routine. What I'm inviting you to do is far simpler and far more powerful, to treat your mornings as sacred. To bring presence to your first thoughts, awareness to your first words, and care to your first actions. Because in those first few moments, you are setting the energetic tone for everything that follows. You are essentially deciding what radio frequency your entire day will broadcast on. Will it be one of stress, self-doubt, and disconnection? Or will it be one of gratitude, trust, and creative power? Philosophically, this speaks to the principle of causation. You are the first cause in your own experience. What you set in motion mentally and emotionally in the morning becomes the cause of what unfolds externally. The internal precedes the external, always. And when we understand this, we stop blaming circumstances and start reclaiming authorship. Think of your morning like a tuning fork. When you strike it with clarity and intention, everything else you encounter begins to resonate with that vibration. If you begin the day centered in love, the world seems softer, more cooperative. If you begin it grounded in lack or worry, suddenly everything appears as a problem. We don't see life as it is, we see it as we are. And mornings are our opportunity to remember who we are before the world tells us who to be. This is why even a few minutes of silence, stillness, or loving reflection can make such a difference. Whether you say an affirmation, place your hand on your heart, breathe deeply, or simply express gratitude for being alive, these acts may seem small, but they are spiritually and psychologically profound. They tell your nervous system, your subconscious, and the universe. I am available for grace. I am aligned with my good. You don't need hours. You only need awareness. The point is not the quantity of the practice, but the quality of the intention behind it. So tomorrow morning, before the noise of the day begins, give yourself the gift of conscious creation. Begin not from fear, but from faith. Don't just wake up, rise. Rise into the version of yourself that knows your worth and claims your day with love. Because how you greet the morning is how life will greet you. Affirmations rewire the mind for worthiness. Speaking affirmations daily replaces fear. Based patterns with love. Based truths. Now that we've explored the sacred power of your morning and the importance of choosing belief over doubt, we naturally arrive at a tool that bridges these two ideas: affirmations. This isn't about reciting pretty words to feel momentarily better. It's about understanding how spoken thought becomes internalized belief, and how belief becomes behavior, and how behavior becomes reality. When used consciously, affirmations are not just motivational, they are transformational. They rewire the mind. Many people underestimate the depth of this practice because they approach it superficially. They say, well, I tried saying I am worthy, but I didn't feel any different. Of course not. If you've spent years, or even decades, feeding your subconscious messages of unworthiness, one repetition won't undo that. The subconscious mind doesn't change through intellectual agreement. It changes through emotional repetition. You must speak affirmations often enough that they no longer sound foreign to you, but familiar, like the sound of your own truth finally returning home. This is why the morning is such a powerful time for affirmation work. As we mentioned earlier, your mind is still in a suggestible state. In this state, your affirmations bypass much of the conscious resistance, the doubt, the defensiveness, the yeah, but that tends to show up later in the day, and go directly into the deeper layers of your psyche, where they can begin to take root. From a psychological standpoint, affirmations are a way of reshaping what cognitive behavioral therapy would call your core beliefs. These are the invisible assumptions you carry about yourself and the world. I'm not good enough. Success is for other people. I always mess things up. These beliefs create confirmation bias, meaning your brain starts seeking evidence to support them. The more you see that evidence, the more the belief gets reinforced. And so the loop continues. But what happens when you insert a new belief intentionally? I am enough. I am deserving of good things. I am capable and strong. At first, your brain might resist. It may feel untrue, but as you continue to affirm, something begins to shift. Your brain starts looking for new evidence, and life begins to deliver it. This isn't magic. It's neuroplasticity. Your mind is capable of change at any age, at any stage, when you consistently feed it a new narrative. Philosophically, this speaks to the concept of identity. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not even your thoughts. You are the one who chooses them. And every time you choose to affirm a higher truth, you are choosing to remember who you really are, not a limited, broken version of yourself, but a powerful, whole, worthy being capable of attracting love, joy, and abundance. Now, I'm not telling you to say things you don't believe just to sound positive. That's not the goal. The goal is to gently stretch the limits of your belief system, one thought at a time. You can start with something simple and gentle. I am learning to love myself. I am open to receiving support. I am willing to see things differently. These are bridges. They create space where fear once lived. And as you continue, the affirmations evolve. I am loved. I am abundant. Everything I need is within me. These are not fantasies. They are truths buried under years of noise. You are not inventing something new. You are remembering something eternal. So let your voice become your guide. Let your words speak life into your day. Let your affirmations be declarations not of who you wish to be, but of who you already are and are ready to reclaim. Because every word you speak is a seed, and one day you will walk through the garden you've planted with your own voice. Mirror work as a tool of inner transformation. Looking into your own eyes with love activates healing and magnetism. Let's go deeper now into something that may feel uncomfortable at first, but has the potential to change you from the inside out. I'm talking about looking into your own eyes, mirror work. It might sound simple, perhaps even a little awkward, but the mirror is one of the most honest teachers you'll ever have. Because when you face yourself, truly face yourself, you come into contact with your most deeply held beliefs. And when done with love, this practice doesn't just reveal those beliefs, it begins to heal them. You see, most of us are used to looking in the mirror to check what's wrong. Is there something out of place, something we need to fix or cover or adjust? The mirror becomes a tool of criticism rather than connection. But what if instead the mirror became a portal, a place where you come home to yourself, where instead of judgment you meet yourself with love? Philosophically, the mirror represents the relationship between the observer and the observed. It reflects not only your physical appearance, but your internal dialogue. And when you look into your own eyes, really look, you bypass the outer distractions and move directly into the soul. There's no hiding there, and yet there's no need to hide, because what you're meeting is not imperfection. It's your own humanity. This practice is radical because it challenges the old programming. It interrupts the conditioned thoughts of I'm not good enough or I'm not lovable, and it replaces them with direct present moment affirmation. You're not just thinking, I love myself. You are saying it to yourself while looking into your own eyes. That adds a dimension of emotional depth and psychological impact that cannot be achieved through words alone. It becomes embodied. From a psychological standpoint, this works because the human brain is wired for emotional association. When you pair eye contact with a positive affirmation, your brain starts forming a new emotional connection with that statement. Over time, those emotional associations override the old negative ones. You begin to internalize a new identity, one rooted in compassion, worthiness, and self-respect. And you may feel resistance at first. That's okay. The resistance is just old pain rising to the surface. Don't push it away, acknowledge it, breathe into it, but don't let it stop you. The mirror is where you learn to hold space for yourself. It's where you practice being fully present with your own feelings, without judgment, without apology. You might begin by simply placing your hand on your heart and saying, I'm here for you. Or I see you, I'm learning to love you. Let it be honest. Let it be real. You are not performing, you are reconnecting, and over time those words will begin to land. The image in the mirror will no longer be a stranger you're trying to fix, but a friend you're learning to love. What's truly profound is that the energy you generate in that moment looking at yourself with compassion does not stay locked inside. It begins to radiate outward. Others will feel it. Life will respond to it. Why? Because you're no longer seeking approval. You're giving it to yourself. And when that happens, your energy shifts. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to attract anything, but because you are fully aligned with yourself. So make the mirror your sanctuary. Just a few minutes each morning. Look into your own eyes and speak to yourself as you would speak to a beloved child or a dear friend. Do it until it no longer feels foreign but familiar. Do it until it becomes natural. Do it until you remember. Because the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself, and the mirror never lies. Gratitude sets the frequency of receiving appreciation, shifts your energy into alignment with abundance. Let's talk about gratitude not as a trendy practice or a fleeting mood, but as a transformative state of being. Gratitude, when fully embodied, is one of the most powerful energetic frequencies you can carry, and what's often overlooked is that it's not just about appreciating what you have. It's about training your mind and heart to recognize that life is already giving to you, even before your desires fully manifest. So many people begin their day with a feeling of lack, what's missing, what hasn't happened yet, what they don't feel ready for. But lack is a perspective, not a truth, and when you start the day by focusing on what's wrong or incomplete, your mind becomes wired to scan for problems. You become like a radio tuned to the frequency of not enough. And what does that attract? More evidence that supports that inner narrative. Gratitude interrupts that cycle. It's a shift in perception that trains your awareness to see what is working, what is already abundant, what is already flowing in your favor. This doesn't mean denying hardship or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to see that even within the challenge, there is a lesson. Even within the unknown, there is possibility. Gratitude is the decision to find value in the present moment, and by doing so, you expand your capacity to receive more. Psychologically, this is more than a nice idea. Studies in neuroscience and positive psychology show that when you practice gratitude consistently, your brain begins to rewire itself. You create new neural pathways that strengthen your focus on positive experiences. You literally become more resilient, more optimistic, and more open to joy. But even more than that, from an energetic and philosophical perspective, gratitude is an act of alignment. It says to the universe, I recognize the good in my life, and I am ready for more. This readiness is key. You don't attract abundance by chasing it. You attract it by becoming a vibrational match to it, and that begins by appreciating what's already here. Gratitude expands your sense of time and worthiness. It shifts your relationship with the future. Instead of hoping something good will happen one day, you start to understand that something good is happening now, and more is already on its way. So how do you make this real, especially in the morning? You slow down, you make space. It could be as simple as placing your hands on your heart and naming 3 things you're thankful for, something your body did for you, something someone said yesterday, the fact that you have another chance to try again. The point is not to repeat a list mechanically, but to feel the truth of what you're saying. To allow your nervous system to register the warmth, the connection, the fullness of the moment. And if you feel like you have nothing to be grateful for, start smaller. You are breathing, you are conscious, you have the capacity to shift. That is already a miracle. The more you affirm what is good, the more you see it. And the more you see it, the more you magnetize it. Life responds to your energy, not just your words. So when you say thank you, mean it with your whole being. Let it ripple out from you as an offering and an invitation. Because the secret isn't waiting for abundance to arrive before you feel grateful. It's knowing that your gratitude is what invites it in. Consistency is the key to energetic alignment. Rituals practiced daily solidify your vibration as a magnet for the life you desire. Now let's bring everything together with a truth that is both liberating and challenging. You must act as if it is already done. This is the essence of living in alignment. It's not about pretending or performing. It's about embodying the energy of what you desire before you see it with your eyes. This is where belief, ritual, affirmation, self-love, and gratitude all come to life. Without aligned action, they remain ideas. But when you live as though your abundance is already here, your entire vibration shifts, and so does your reality. Most people wait for permission. They wait for proof, for signs, for everything to fall into place before they give themselves permission to feel joy, to feel successful, to feel worthy. But waiting is passive, and the universe doesn't respond to passivity. It responds to clarity, consistency, and courage. Living as if is a philosophical stance. It says, I don't need to see the evidence before I believe it. I choose to believe first, and then I act in alignment with that belief. If you say you believe in abundance, but you act from fear and scarcity, your actions cancel out your intentions. It's not about what you say once. It's about what you consistently live. Psychologically, this idea connects to something called cognitive dissonance. When your behavior is out of alignment with your beliefs, your mind experiences internal conflict. Over time, either your behavior changes to match your belief, or your belief shifts to justify your behavior. But when you choose to act in a way that matches your desired belief before the outer world gives you a reason, you begin to collapse that gap. You become congruent, and congruence is power. If you believe you are worthy, how would you speak to yourself? How would you walk into a room? How would you handle challenges? If you believed your success was inevitable, what choices would you make today? Who would you forgive? What would you release? These are not rhetorical questions. They are invitations, daily, actionable prompts that root your inner work in reality. The key is subtlety, not drama. You don't need to radically overhaul your life overnight. That often leads to burnout. What you need is to consistently embody small actions that reflect the person you are becoming. Do you want to be more abundant? Start by being generous. Do you want to be seen and respected? Start by honoring your own time and presence. Do you want to feel more joy? Start treating joy as something you deserve right now, not a reward you earn later. Spiritually, when you act as if your desire is already fulfilled, you create a field of expectancy. You're not hoping, you're preparing, and that preparation is magnetic. The universe meets you at your level of expectation, not your level of desperation. So begin each day not by asking, will it happen, but by declaring it's already on its way, then act accordingly. Choose your clothes, your words, your posture, your decisions, as someone who knows they are already supported. And yes, doubt will visit. That's natural. The goal is not to eliminate doubt, but to stop giving it authority over your actions. Let doubt be a passing cloud, not the compass by which you navigate. You are not waiting for your life to begin. It's happening now. You are not becoming someone new. You are remembering who you've always been. So live the vibration of your vision. Breathe it, walk it, speak it, until the world has no choice but to rearrange itself in your favor, because the moment you begin living as though it's already yours, it begins arriving.